So Jesse Jackson is in the hospital. It was reported, and we don't know, what's everything that's going on. Jesse Jackson is a very polarizing guy. Growing up, Push and Rainbow Coalition, and he ran for president, minister, and stuff. But there's a lot of uneasiness with him. People I know always felt he knew about Dr. King and that balcony in Memphis, and I know some people that didn't really think much of him. He hung out the Playboy Mansion. He had different discretions, and of course, you've heard stuff that happened with his son, unfortunately. Jesse spoke out about crack cocaine and white powder cocaine, the Million Man March, and he had himself in different things, but he also was down with Trump, down with a lot of, you know, I used to watch his show on CNN. He was kind of scattered in different places. Was a guy who definitely got into the entertainment industry, had association with a lot of people, etc., etc. Uh, Polarizing. One was in him and Al Sharpton kind of like joined at the hip. So there's a lot of, but again, he was covered. He was almost as close. Sometimes this is the thing. When it's black politicians and they are almost scandal free, chances are they've had someone covering them. And I'm not saying to say that you black and you don't that you can't get into politics without something going on, but especially when you've been that visible as he was in certain circles, he definitely there were whispers and things at the end. But no one has ever like in the capacity gotten at him like they've had people say stuff, but knowing that in the political world they've been very kind of coded. And again, nowadays people are so quick to just call you out, a you out, put you out, and just kind of like say yeah, yeah, yeah. But his was pretty much covered. Even Sharpens is to an extent. You know, Farrakhan's too. I mean, black politicians who happen to be ministers is a very touchy subject. And they're like this closest thing to made men in the community. We'll go back to Reverend Ike and Jesse fall in that line. Access to everything you can imagine. Put you in a frame of mind of like Reverend Washington, Richard Pryor's character in Which Way Is Up, where you kind of like, you just, But he had a movement. He had a progressiveness about him, and he was a distinctive orator. However, he did say some suspect stuff about Obama, which I always felt kind of off putting. But I do thoughts and prayers are with his family. He is, and it might appear we don't really know what's gonna go on with him. It's a situation where it's kind of